Hi guys, it's Perry again, and so we're still having conversations on the bench for the next 22 or 21 plus hours. I'm getting loopy already, but I am so excited. The next person who agreed to come and sit with me on the bench is Christine. Now, Christine, I always have a hard time pronouncing your last name. Can you tell the people what your last name
Yep.
is?
Christine is great, but Christine Negendank.
Okay,
Yeah.
Christine, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And she is president CEO, president and chief medical officer, excuse me,
Yeah.
of Adult and Child, one of the premier healthcare organizations in town. And so thank you for coming and sitting on the
Thank
bench.
you.
And so I usually start off by saying I kind of apologize for the bench. It's not the most comfortable bench, but
It's
I'm going to have to sleep on this and
great.
everything.
It's great. It's a good
So,
bench.
it
Very
is.
comfortable,
But there's
actually.
a story there. We have a addiction and alcohol recovery program down in near Bloomington, Indiana, and part of that is we have a pallet shop. Where
Okay.
it's a social enterprise, and it employs folks, gives them livable skills,
Yeah.
as well as makes money for us, right?
Yeah, nice.
And we sell about 1.3 million dollars a year in pallets.
Wow.
And so we got all
amazing.
that wood down there, and I said, guys, can you
Yeah.
make a bench for me?
Yes.
And so the guys who were once formerly homeless, who worked for us in our pallet shop, made this for me.
Oh,
And
it's
so
lovely.
it has a story.
I think it's lovely.
So what we're going to do is we're just kind of an authentic, transparent conversation. And why don't you tell the folks what you do at Adult and Child and what Adult and Child does. And really, one of the key things I want to know is how you've come to sit here on this hard bench with me today.
Okay, sounds good. So Adult and Child, we're a local
Yes.
community mental health center. We're a CCBHD, which is a certified community behavioral health center. We're a federally qualified health center, so we provide primary care, mental health treatment, addictions treatment,
Gotcha.
other services, and we've been partnering with Wheeler since
How long? A long time.
at least 2011,
Yeah.
and so probably before that.
Wow.
And so we have our homeless resource team who goes to Wheeler Men's at least weekly.
Okay.
We have some staff, our sort of community treatment team who's at Wheeler Women's and Children's,
Nice,
and they're
nice.
embedded there.
Yeah.
And so we really have this wonderful collaboration, and we're so grateful really for it, because I think it's a perfect match
It is.
of providing safe and secure housing so people can obtain health care that they need, and vice versa. So we've had a great experience, and we just keep growing our collaboration.
Yeah, we are.
And I love that, because I know that you collaborate with so many agencies in the area.
Well, we love Adult and Child and what you do, and we can't think of a better partner to help us with some of the things that we need help with.
Yeah,
We
as
can't
well.
do everything, and
Right.
you can't do everything.
Exactly.
So it really takes
Exactly.
a team and collaboration.
Yep.
So help me understand, in terms of homelessness. I saw your question, and what is it that I can answer for you? What are some questions that you have about homelessness, or one of the
Right.
things that you most burning question that you really wanted to know sitting here on the bench with me?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of questions. I think one thing I always think about is that intersection of healthcare and people experience homelessness. And my first question would be around that.
Sure.
What can we do as a healthcare agency better, or how can we better collaborate?
Sure.
How can we reach more people? And then I think the second question is just around, what other services are out there that we could help connect, right?
Yeah.
So Wheeler, because I know we feel so blessed to be able to interact with so many people from Wheeler and other people who do not have safe and secure housing, right? And so we just learn so much and we grow, and we just feel like there's always more to be done, because Wheeler and so many agencies are trying so hard
we
to
are.
help people find safe and secure housing and maintain it. And what more can be done? So that's a whole bunch of questions in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's a loaded question. There's a lot there. Well, I mean, one of the first things that I think of is more awareness. I mean, people have to know
Right.
what we do. People just think of Wheeler as food, clothing, and shelter.
Mhm.
And I'm sure they have some common misconceptions about Adult and Child.
Sure.
So it's really kind of awareness and breaking down the barriers to awareness.
Yeah.
And that's really people like you and me, who often have to be the face of our organizations, at least spokespeople for our organizations.
Right.
We have to go out there and talk and educate.
Right.
So that's one of the things that we do, and I really try to bring it home in as simple a terms as possible. There was a movie not long ago that said, "Explain it to me like I'm a 6-year-old,"
Right.
and that's what I really
Sure.
try to do, because it is a complex issue. The issues that you deal with every day is extremely complex. The things that we deal with encompass some of the same issues that you deal with, and so I try to make it as simple, that is so simple that a 6-year-old can understand it. Last night or normally what we see is 60 to 65% of the people who come to us every night through our doors. And I had a little over 700 people last night, men, women, and children, last night, and it's not even cold yet.
Right.
Come through our doors. About 60, 65% of those folks were experiencing some mental challenges. And is that the right way to talk about that?
Yeah,
I just want to make
mental
sure.
illness. Yeah.
And I got in trouble one time because I did say mental illness, and
It's fine.
Okay. But individuals who are experiencing mental illness or mental challenges and some kind of addiction, so that 1-2 punch is often what we see coming through our doors, and that's usually 60 to 65% of the folks. And so that's a lot of the folks that we deal with each and every day. So I think awareness is important at all different kind of levels. And I think it's incumbent upon us to continue to keep open doors and for collaboration. We have a sacred obligation to be creative and innovative, right? And not just stuck in the stale solutions of the past.
Right.
So that's incumbent upon us to stay on top of what's happening nationally with our brother and sister organizations across the country, and knowing national trends, but more importantly, just knowing what's happening on the ground, what's happening in our own communities, and that's just keeping our ear to the ground, and just being out there and being aware of what can we do to understand those issues so that we can help bring creative, innovative solutions to our community. And so the last question you had is about who else or what other resources. There are so many resources out there, and I'm sure I don't know all of them, and you don't know all of them. And there's some grassroots resources that are popping
especially up here in the area,
up all the time, and so it's just hard to keep track sometimes. But what I want to do is just encourage anybody who has resources or know of other resources that we can utilize or bring to bear in the work that both of us do in our respective organizations. Please tell us. Just let us know, and I'm sure she would also like to know that information, and I definitely would like to know that information.
Absolutely.
So, one of the things that I'm asking people is about your organization. What is one big common misperception out there that people might or might not have about your organization that you want to try to dispel? Some kind of misconception out there. And how can they help?
There's still a lot of stigma, right, around treatment, around mental health treatment, around addictions treatment. And so I think that's the education, is providing education to help people understand that these are illnesses, right? They're all illnesses like diabetes, and they all need treatment. And that we also, as you're talking about innovation, there's been so much innovation in healthcare, and not just medications, but our approach, right? And so how we treat the whole person, and how we provide integrated care, and how we walk alongside people. We don't dictate to people what their treatment should be. We figure out, what do you want? What's going to help you grow? And I know you do that at Wheeler as well. You walk alongside. And so I think that's a huge misconception. And that's one thing that we try to break down with our education, is that stigma and the barriers. And to tell people, when you come in our doors, you're welcome. You're welcome, and we will provide you whatever you desire and need, right? We're not going to dictate anything to you. We just want to provide you with services to help you grow and to be healthier and to be happier.
If you're a queen for a day, somebody gave you a magic wand, to wave over everything, you had all the resources at your fingertips. What is the one or two things that you would most definitely do right off the bat?
Oh, right off the bat, I think I would find a way, right, to provide healthcare just to everyone who needs it, everyone who wants it, and just get rid of that stigma. Somehow do that, right? I think that would be really the goal, because as a community, if we can just get to be healthier in general, then it takes a lot of the barriers down for other things that we need to do.
That would be a big one to be able to do that, right?
Well, you said I was queen for a day,
you are queen, with unlimited resources.
That's right.
So one of the things that I come from a small town in Kentucky, and one of the things that led me to my work here is I'm the most unlikely CEO of a homeless shelter or organization of its kind in the country. Because I never thought I'd be here. You know.
Yeah.
But what about you? What led you? What got you to there at adult and child?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a quick story.
Okay, I love
so
stories.
yeah, so I'm a psychiatrist, right?
Okay.
And so in my 4th year of residency, I just really had the privilege of working with a mentor who opened a psychiatric clinic in the shelter in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
And so my last year, I spent almost all my time in this clinic, and I went out one day because I was able to go out to people who were living in the tent populations and so forth. And so I went out, and being a naive and ignorant physician, I thought like I had the answers. So this is why I've learned to walk alongside.
My son is
and
a
not
neurologist.
dictate. Yes,
He's
so
a
you
naive
get that.
and ignorant neurologist.
Yes, early on, we all think we know it all, right? And so
Yeah.
I went out and I was talking to an individual who was clearly experiencing some psychosis, and I thought, medication, this is what you need to do. And I'm trying to dictate to someone what they need, and they didn't want it. So I came back and I talked to my mentor, and he said, did you ask what this person wants? What do they want? And so
Simple question.
Simple question. So I went back the next day and I apologized because, and I said, what do you want? And I still get teary when I think about it. He said, I want clean, dry socks. That's what I want. And so I went back and I got clean, dry socks, and it was so emotional, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we developed a relationship. And about a year later, he was in our clinic and we were providing care, and it's being that relationship to find out really need. What do they want? Not what I think is going to be the solution. So since that time, 20 plus years ago, I've always worked in community mental health and so forth. So I've always been super passionate, right, about just finding ways to help people who are experiencing homelessness.
Yeah. So how can people help your organization?
I think really it's just the same thing with Wheeler, getting the word out that we're here. We're in the community. We're in the greater Indianapolis area. We have lots of services we can provide, and people, and we welcome collaboration. Like we are big with working with many partners in the area, and so I think that's the big thing for us.
Now, be honest. This is supposed to be an honest, transparent, and authentic conversation. We're unscripted, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What did you think when you heard we invited you to sit here on the bench with me on Conversations on the Bench? What did you think? This is the stupidest idea in the world. Tell me what your
I
initial
thought
thoughts
it
were.
was brilliant, and I really did. I'm being authentic. I really am.
Okay.
Because it's sometimes you get this perception that CEOs or chief medical officers are somehow not reachable people,
That's right?
And
That's right.
you're not real people.
That's right.
And you don't care to the level that people think you care. And so I think it's great. And I think it's great that you're talking to just a variety of everybody who wants to come up and talk. And so
and trust me, a couple of them have already come up and just off the street and talk to me.
Because that's how you learn,
That's
right?
right.
And so no, I thought it was a great idea, and I love the bench. I think this is a lovely bench. So
as hard as it is.
yes, and I just really appreciate you being out here all day, right, all night, and to just help bring awareness right to this.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time off out of your busy schedule. You're probably off work right now,
I
right?
am
on
off
your way home.
work. I get to go home to my family.
Nice,
yes. So
nice. I think we're getting pizza from
Okay.
Hasbo's Pizza. I'm smelling it. It smells
I
so good.
That's right.
So I can't wait. But thank you so
Thank you so much.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate you and your courage. This is courageous to come and sit to somebody. This is the first time we've met,
It is.
right?
Yes.
And it's courageous to come and talk about our organizations.
Yeah.
Really appreciate everything you do, community. And keep up the good work.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and I just want you to know that's office right there on the 3rd floor.
All right.
You got a direct line,
That's right.
and I consider us friends.
Absolutely.
Friends,
This was
really
absolutely
friends.
wonderful. Thank you so much. I
You
appreciate
can
the
always call me
opportunity.
and talk to me and just have a direct line to me. And I hope the same for me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. It was so great. Great
Thank
to
you so
talk
much.
to you. Thank you.
Go home and get some food.
I will. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.